Happy set. What the fuck is that? Oh. Never mind, it's my pile of shame. Don't look. Don't look. Move my giant ass sail ship that I need to paint at some stage. Alright. That might be a little bit quiet. No, actually it should be alright. Okay, cool. Hope everyone's doing good. Right. I'm slightly all over the place this morning. Oh my god. Oh. You know whenever you sit down to something and everything just feels like 2 degrees of separation removed from where you left it? Like this has been a really irritating poltergeist. It's just sort of just shifted stuff enough that you notice, but not that it's an inconvenience, that just, you know, just stuff feels wrong. Anyway. Hope everybody's doing well. Yeah, we're just finishing off a couple of models today. We were painting, you can just about make out, we're painting the Musketeer here. Fuck, I need to bring up the... No, not video. Images, there we go. Alright, what exactly is our play here? Okay. But yeah, we're starting with the Musketeer, but we've also got a bit of a night haunt to finish up, so we might finish that if we get an opportunity to. That's a leather clasp. Yeah. Right. Our base, if memory serves, was the Nocturne Green. It's only been a couple of days since I last streamed, which is quite nice for me. It's quite good. But I was waiting for a new wet palette to arrive, which it has. I've kept the lid because I've got too many nice stickers on the lid. But fuck. It's really difficult actually because the Nocturne Green is very similar in my colorblind ass eyes to the black, perhaps a slight difference. I was originally going to try and paint her with like a leather cuirass. Or curious? Cuirass? I don't know. Leather gilet. There you go. But I think that might be slightly too much. So if we're going with that, we'll go with a green down here as well. The edge highlighting of this is going to be a fucking nightmare. There's a really... I need to think of a good color that doesn't clash. I'm thinking like a mustard yellow. Maybe. But I'm wondering if that will make her stand out too much. But I suppose that's not necessarily a bad thing. Uncertain. We'll see how we go. Yeah, it's fine. That's all good. I don't want to look too sort of Napoleonic, for the lack of a better term. Right, I need to address the brown as well. God damn. What was the brown? It was Scorched Earth, wasn't it? Scorched Wood. Was it the Scorched Wood? I think that's... No, what the fuck was it? What brown did I use? Was it Flat Earth? No, maybe it was Scorched Wood. Maybe just, you know... Fuck, I literally just... I put the Scorched Wood down and it just disappeared. Is that it? It is. There you go. I'll try the Scorched Wood for the musket. See if that was the right one. Yeah, actually, that could well be right. Alright. But yeah, I don't quite know what color to do the sort of edge highlighty parts of it all. I'm sort of stumped a little by it. I need more picture, like need more sprite pictures as well, to be fair. So I can properly have a look and see what we're doing. I want to make her stand out, and at the moment she's very dark. But we've not done a lot of the sort of extra bits, so not quite sure what to do. Alright, we'll put a bit more green in the wet palette because we're going to need to. Oh my god. Sneeze. Oh my god. Sorry. Ugh. So yeah, that'll be our. We'll use the Morghast bone purely because we're gonna need a new tub of Morghast bone anyway. I am having a look at Monument Hobbies paints, the Pro Quill series. My only problem is I have racks for Citadel and I have racks for Vallejo and Dropper, and the Monument Hobbies ones are a weird shape. So I don't know whether or not they'll actually fit. Let me have a look at something here. Oh, interesting. Ooh, okay. That actually might help. Right, okay. Pivot. We're pivoting. Frick. What color would be good for that? So, in the actual sprite, what we just painted, the wee sort of skirts are actually a khaki color, which we do have a khaki, but I'm wondering whether or not it's more of like a... No, it does look. It looks like a linen color almost. Maybe deck tan. That's too pinky, isn't it? That's like a flesh. Unsure about that one. Hey, Minioff. How's it going? Welcome in. How are you doing? Happy Saturday. You working today? What color indeed do I do this? Do I go the khaki? That's too... Maybe it is deck tan. Maybe that is the choice. For like a linen. I just worry that it's too pinky. Satisfied to be at work. Yeah, I mean like... First day into the bank holiday weekend? Yeah. Really? Fuck's sake. I need to get a nice good supply of pins as well because the dropper bottles I don't use regularly are all gummed up. So that might be okay. Hey, yoink. You've not had much opportunity to stream recently, have you? Feel bad because I keep on missing people. I'm really excited actually because like today I've got a bit of an opportunity to do a couple of streams. So I'll be doing this painting stream this morning until probably about 11. So just over an hour. Yeah, it might work. And then I'll be doing a gaming stream for a bit longer later. So I know we'll be checking out the new Darkest Dungeon DLC. That might be okay, actually. I don't hate it yet. I'm not sure what color it is. It looks like a fleshy grey color, but that's not too bad. That's coming under that. Nice. I feel like Monster Hunter is the sort of game that you can literally just like lose so much time into, though. It seems like just an endless, almost like it does really feel like a bit of a grind, doesn't it? But it's always nice to have a bit of a change. I mean, the same can be said about most games that like I started playing way back when. I seen a friend of mine, like they started a stream like fucking 4 days ago and have already got affiliate and already into like 30 average viewers. Fucking insane. So happy for her. Turned into a very, very good Overwatch player. Although she stole my Moira, which I'm not a big fan of. But I was the original Moira. I know, right? It's mad. It's nice to know that it can still happen because it's like Hey, I will not hear slander about more remains. Fuck. In fairness, like, the whole reason that, like, I stopped playing healer was because I was more impactful as a tank. I remember playing games and, like, I just became the de facto tank main in Overwatch, which I was fine with. Like, I enjoyed tank, but my god, it's a fucking thankless task sometimes. I can 100% understand why tank mains were one of the first, like, contingent, I suppose, to make the swap to Marvel Rivals. I prefer support because I'm not naturally, I'm naturally not. I'm quite. I feel like I'm quite technical as a player. Like I would have played Caustic and Apex and stuff like that. Actually, that looks a lot better. It's got something going on now. That'll be the burgundy on the stash as well. All right, cool. But like, I really enjoyed playing Reinhardt. Whenever Hazard came out, I felt like I was a really good Hazard, but I just couldn't keep up with like the amount of nerfs, and I didn't have enough time to dedicate to learn to counter like new things, and then it just got like away from me. Like, it literally got to the stage where like I looked back in, and I was like, oh, some of these new heroes in Overwatch look really cool. And I was like, hey, why is there a fucking jetpack cap? Ooh, when did this happen? Morning, Send. How's it going? How you doing, bud? Those are the days, though. Like, it's like I have to be a bit careful because my fiance is a doctor, and she was frontline during COVID, and she had, like, obviously, as did a lot of people, a fucking horrendous time of things. Like, she was in the wards, but at the same time, for people who were either like myself, who were unemployed, and couldn't get a job because no one was fucking hiring, or, you know, vis-a-vis making content, I, like, that was peak gamer time. Everyone was just gaming, like, almost all the time, or just sort of like, hold up, let me work remotely. I've got to submit this fucking email request or something. And it was also just like, sure. Sleepy was slowly getting up. Dude, I don't know whether or not this is just a, like, since I've been working full time. Also, you have to excuse me, I do have a bit of a cold. I have my, I don't know if you can hear it in the background, I got a new air purifier, which is working overtime. It's sort of trying to get pollen out of the air, but, like, I woke up this morning, I was like, ugh. But, like, I don't know whether or not it's a sort of, like, since I started working thing, but I cannot sleep in worth a fuck anymore. I wake up maybe half an hour after my alarm's meant to go off, and I'm just awake. During COVID, there was me and one more person working from a team of 7 people. Yeah, fucking hell. Like, it's a time that we'll never see again, hopefully. But the one thing that amazes me is the quickness of some people to just be like, no, it didn't happen. It was all a hoax. And I was like, what in the fucking frogs are you talking about? Do you think everyone in the world is, like, I genuinely want people to have a think. The people who sort of, like, believe that COVID was all, like, a government conspiracy or something like that by the global elite. It's like, the global elite need no fucking reason to start bombing the shit out of people. and you're thinking they all suddenly be like, fuck, let's just, like, stand still, let's just do nothing for a couple of years, it'll be fine, be grand, no one will suspect a thing, we'll all just stay indoors and play Halo. Well, again, Captain, how's it going? Happy Sunday. Fuck, Saturday. I'm wishing my weekend away. Thank you. Actually, like, I was buzzing about this because I picked it up on eBay. I wanted to grab it for ages, and the best thing is, actually, I don't know if you know about this watch, but, like, let me see this is on the right settings. The eyes go round over the course of, like, a week. Because yes, I am a giant nerd. In case the stream on a Saturday morning with miniature painting was not enough of an indication. This is what we do here. I was buzzing actually because like it's a Swatch watch, which are like, I don't think they're not designer in any way, but this was like the Halloween version of it. And I checked it out for a couple of years. I was like, that's a really cool watch. I'd love to buy that some stage. And then like I on a whim I looked again and was like, fuck, they're sold out. Let me check on eBay, see what they are going for if I had bought it. You know, because like I know that Fossil do really cool tie-ins. Like they've got a Mandalorian watch at the moment, and they did like a Minecraft tie-in, which I'm gutted I didn't get. Even Pokemon tie-in, I think. Pokemon collaboration. And they just, what happened, like a guy in the UK was selling this, like no box, but like really good nick for like 30 quid. It was like 100 quid less. It was like an auction bid as well. I was like, well, sick. So I just put in like a lowball bid, expecting to be outbid. Marks the 6th day of your painting. Ooh, what are you painting? And more importantly, are you enjoying it? And are you also staying away from Instagram and the like? Because there's no, like, don't get me wrong, I'm someone who needs the phrase thief is the comparison, or thief is the, no, comparison is the thief of joy tattooed on my forehead, because I would like be like, I'm really excited to paint this, see how someone else painted it and be like, oh, I don't want to paint anymore. I'm shit. Ultramarines, nice. Do I have any Ultramarines I painted? Well, I thought I might have one Ultramarine that I painted recently. What are you doing, a custom color scheme, or are you sort of doing the blue, the classic blue and gold? So I've got a wee display cabinet behind me. So I'm, as much as I like the Ultramarines, I am more of a Dark Angels. I like things that are clothy and that. But I picked up the sort of inner circle Dark Angel-y type ones. I need to actually touch up that pauldron, actually. Fuck, that's really bad. You ever go back to a model and be like, Jesus, I didn't paint that terribly well. I'm missing... Fuck, I need to fix this. Hold up. This is a bit of a side quest. I suddenly realised that I missed bits. Hold up. This is whenever I painted downstairs at the kitchen table with really poor lighting, and I just realised that like there's literal bits of the brass that I missed. That's really bad. So, oh yeah, the 40k. It's honestly, it's such a good set. Like, they did a really good job. They're really good at getting people into the hobby. What they don't explain to you is it is an addiction, and you will very quickly end up with just a pile of models that you have not painted. In fact, that's a little bit better. I will say my models look very good on a camera and at a distance. Don't look too closely. I'm not the most detail-orientated person, which is why. So we're currently painting like an array of different models at the moment. So I've got a Cursed City one here, which I'm sort of chipping away at. My normal army is Night Haunt, so we've got a little bit of a Night Haunt guy going on here, and then we're painting a little bit of a board game miniature. There. Now I want to learn how to dry brush. Dry brushing is really useful. Yeah, dry brushing is really useful. I used it a lot sort of early on as a sort of like way to loosely edge highlight things. I use it a lot for bases now. So I've got a couple of different... I did have another dry brush. I got a bigger dry brush, didn't I? Oh, it's in there. I was like, wait, I got another dry brush, didn't I? And I was like, oh, wait, it's in the fucking case. It's really useful. There are some really, really good YouTube tutorials on it. I think it's either Squidmar or Miniac who do really sort of in-depth dry brushing tutorials. I use it less now just because I find that I'm sort of restricted. I need to get a better dry brushing brush. Because this one's a little bit done. So I have a couple of others, but I like this one. Do you need to buy a dry brush? You can. So I bought this one just because I needed to get over a certain like delivery. So the paint brushes that I use are Artis Opus. That's purely because you can see the size of the tip on them. I find them just slightly better than like the Warhammer ones at fine detail. Granted, this was a base brush rather than a fine detail brush. If you have makeup brushes, they are also really good. The only thing is the dry brushing is quite harsh on your paintbrushes. The Games Workshop dry brushes are perfectly fine. So they offer a couple of different ones. So I now use that one to apply sort of texture paint. But their dry brushes are good. They're perfectly serviceable. You can just use an old paintbrush, but what I would use old paintbrushes for more so is a procedure called stippling. And I think that's just because personally, if I was doing dry brushing, I would aim to stipple more. So that's basically where you just sort of, get like an old paintbrush and then just sort of dab like in circles, and it sort of builds up a bit of a lighter. I find it's just I have a bit more control. It's personal preference is why I've sort of moved a little bit away from dry brushing, that and the fact that a couple of times with my dry brush, because the bristles are a bit stiffer, I end up sort of like, it feels like I'm whacking the model a little bit too hard. But no, dry brushing is especially with your ultramarines, especially if you start to look at bigger projects. Like if you were to get, I know the Space Marines have really cool bikes and tanks and stuff like that. They are class, and dry brushing is really, really useful though. Right, what was I? Need to do a second layer of the like linen material, because me, like a dumbass, decided to put green down here, and then realized that was not the right color for there. Thankful day where I can work from home. I mean, if something goes wrong in your own house, is that not working from home? Can you call yourself and be like, yes, I will invoice myself? In fairness though, Send, your skills will, like, what... once my skills have been replaced by AI, Send, yours will still be required to then repair AI. So you'll be the enemy of the people. Yeah. Not at all. I hope it makes sense. Like, I'm entirely a self-taught painter. I didn't really do... Like, I didn't do any sort of art courses at school. I've been painting since 2021. I painted a little bit whenever I was a kid, but I don't think that counts because I think I was applying it with like a, inches of paint. But equally, like, I like to think that I paint to a high standard, but it's nowhere near sort of display standard, I sort of aim to hit a sort of, it looks high end on the tabletop level of painting, and sometimes I hit and sometimes I miss. Like I did a horrendous paint job on an elf recently, which I was not happy about, and it knocked me out of painting for like a couple of weeks. I was just like so sort of like, how the fuck did I paint that monstrosity? What the fuck? And then I was like, I'm not very good at painting flesh tones. I can't paint skin worth a damn. Give me a skeleton, give me a skull, zombie, knock that out for you in about half an hour. No problems, no questions asked. Anything that has been alive in the last like fucking 2 hours, no chance. Even even the birds and the bats and the rats on this guy, I was like, I don't know what to fucking do here. Yeah, like, I'd like to say that it's part of the reason I chose to focus on Nighthaunt is because I'm colorblind. I can't see pink, like reds and pinks terribly well. That's already an issue. So Nighthaunt naturally sort of fits well, shall we say. But it's equally why I quite appreciate the fact that in the Space Marine boxes, you have the option for different heads. And it's a really nice way of adjusting or like avoiding that issue is just by having them all wear helmets, which I think is cooler anyway. There's a white zombie. Are you using traditional paints or are you using contrast? I suppose you'll be using the paints that come in the main paint set or the introductory paint set. I'll give you a my sort of wee tip and trick. Yeah, so if you're going to be painting a lot of flesh or a lot of I'm not a massive fan of contrast paints. I prefer to use your standard ones, you know, the ones that say sort of base and layer, you know. So but what I would recommend is there are 2 contrast paints that I swear by. Let's see if I can find the other one. There. Actually, I used it in this model. No, not at all, Captain. This is what, like, yes, I'm painting, but I'm loving I love interacting with people who come in. You know, that's, you know, there are times whenever I might paint and I just got like, you know, a One Piece episode on. That's my sort of my painting chill time. But that, you know, the whole reason I'm streaming is because I get to interact with people while doing it. Makes me feel useful. So I swear by these 2 colors here. So Skeleton Horde for Skeleton Horde for easy sort of bones, skulls. Gilliman Flesh is amazing for faces. What I do is I either paint, depending on the sort of flesh tones I'm wanting to paint, I either put down a white or some form of like bone, like light bone, so maybe wraith bone. And if I'm wanting sort of like a pinky color or something like that, I put a little bit of a pink, sort of where I want it to go. Only got Nuln Oil. That's fair. So I use Nuln Oil a little bit. It works slightly differently, so it's got less pigment and sort of really just settles into the corners. I'm wondering if I have. Do I have any? I would if I had a skull, I'd show you, but I don't. So these really only settle into the corners, whereas so they're shades. The contrast paints have slightly more pigment, and they paint and settle, but it really sort of makes the Gilliman Flesh really makes a really nice sort of flesh tone. So if you see the I didn't do the face terribly well on this guy, but if you can see the face a little bit, if this camera would focus, it settles really nicely into the sort of crevices, does kind of the shading for you, and then I kind of go over the top with my lightest sort of ivory, usually Wraithbone. If it's a bit of a darker skin tone, maybe Morghast. I haven't dabbled in painting sort of different ethnicities. Unfortunately, I'm only able to, at this stage, do sort of pinky flesh, just because I haven't figured out what browns and what sort of other sort of fleshy colors. You know, in my painting experience, it's very much like browns are for sort of like leathers and stuff, which I'm still trying to work on. Once I get slightly more comfortable painting faces, then I'll look to branch out. But that's how I do it. So like, if you were to pick up one contrast paint, or one contrast paint, it would be Gilliman Flesh. It's saves me so much time, and it's just really specialized for me. Primal, yeah, it's something I didn't used to do, and now I do every time. I actually, because I have some board games where the plastic, there's like plastic, like transparent plastic, or like colored plastic. So I have the Apex board game, for example, and in that there's like green smoke effects and stuff. So sometimes I hand prime with this, but I have a couple of different. So you can see here actually. So I primed these models, and I just primed it black beforehand, and then sprayed white or bone at an angle, just so I can see slightly better. This one I left entirely black because I wanted to try and do a different style with this to match the video game that the board game is based on. This is why I'm sort of not filling and try not to fill it in to make it look a little bit sort of cartoony almost, with stronger black outlines. Matte black, yeah, the chaos, the chaos black, or did you go like elsewhere? Because the Warhammer ones are, you're paying for the Warhammer ones being specially for miniatures, but also convenient. That's a lot of the thing with the Citadel paints. Like, the Citadel paints are very good. There are better ones out there for the same price. Like, I quite like Vallejo or AK Interactive, but you're paying for Citadel's convenience, which is fine. You know, not everyone. You know, the amount of people I see in the game shop whenever I'm in, so many of them are kids, and it's great to see, because like whenever I was a kid, I would have loved to go to the Warhammer shop after school with my mates, but it was not as widely appreciated back then. It was very niche whenever I was growing up. Bought from the hardware store, fair. That was whenever I started. It was during COVID, but the UK was also implementing Brexit, as if navigating a global pandemic wasn't complex enough. So I got mine from like a car repair shop. It was like if you're familiar with the UK at all, it was Halfords, which did the job, and it was probably worked out roughly about the same price, to be fair. It wasn't huge savings. But if you do have any other questions, like, as I said, there are probably people who are on, even at this time on a Saturday morning, who are probably much more experienced or more talented than I am, but I'll be happy to help if I can. Get discounts. Hey! Should have hit you up. It's like, yo, can you get me X and Y primers, please? Honestly, that was the biggest obstacle for me starting painting, was I couldn't find any fucking primers. Oops, made that paint slightly too watery. I'll have to go for that again. Might end up doing a little bit of dry brushing-esque on the base at some stage. The base looks a mess right now, but I'm hoping it comes together. It's amazing what a little bit of a couple of grass tufts can do. No worries, Captain. I hope everyone's got their morning coffee as well. And if it's not morning with you, go get a coffee. We are a coffee channel here. Actually, I don't know how some of the grey is managing to look a different colour, but I'm okay with how that looks so far. Alright, the burgundy is fine, so let's take a little bit of the deck tan, because we have it out, and just, we need a little bit of a edge highlighty burgundy colour. Try and make it not too not too bright. Trade cards and mechanic. I've got my morning monster. Fair. I was going to make myself like a proper coffee this morning, but I ended up just making myself an espresso because I was like, fuck, I got to start a stream here. It's not bright enough, actually. It's so class, though, to see people coming into the hobby, though. Because, like, whenever I was growing up, it was really niche, and, like, my parents were very much, still are kind of, in essence, they're very much of the opinion, like, if you do something, it's sort of like, well, what are you going to do with it once you're done? And it's like, keep it to look at, because I'm proud of it. You know, it's one of those sort of things. It's like, as if everything needs to have a fucking point. And it's like, no, I like the thing. Let me enjoy the thing that I like. I don't know if anyone else has parents that are like somewhat the same way, where it's like almost what would be the best way to describe it without being a dick? Like if you had kids, if you had toys as a kid that you remember, and then like you're like, oh, what happened to that? And then you realize like, oh, my parents encouraged me to give it away because I was too old, and now I'm like a 30-year-old Googling somewhere at like chat GPTing a random ass kid's toy from like 2004 to see if they still exist or if there's any on eBay. It sucks. I had a Transformer that like I could have sold for like 200 quid. I wouldn't. I wish I hadn't thrown it away because my granny gave it to me and she passed away. So now I'm just looking for a replacement for future house. So I can be like, that's like the one that granny got me. I remember getting that. It's not the exact one because I bought it from eBay because I gave the other one away back in like 2015. What color are her gloves? Brown as well. Okay, cool. Let's use a different brown though. What brown should I use? Nope. Do I have... Where's my Rhinox hide? Thondia. Thondia will do. My problem is I have way too many paints. I went through a phase of being like, I need that paint, and then I suddenly realized less is more. Like, I don't need all these paints. That's fine. Yeah, so it's same color, just a slight texture difference. And again, sorry, every time I'm painting, I'm like holding my breath because I'm like, breathe in. Like I'm not, because this is a board game one, I'm not aiming for this model to be perfect. I'm aiming for it to be sort of tabletop ready. I'm sort of, I know the standard I'm aiming at, and that will mean that I can get through it, I can paint it, and then I don't need to necessarily dwell too much on it. I have a standard in mind, and that's what I'm trying to hit. The only problem is making sure that I can differentiate the gloves from the musket. Not the nicest brown, but we'll make it work. Okay. It is starting to come together a little bit. My colorblindness is causing a bit of havoc. Touch up this model slightly. We're actually really getting there. I'm really impressed with how this is sort of like, this isn't meant to be me sort of being like sort of fishing for compliments or anything like that, but like at the end of the last stream I was sort of a bit kind of like, I'm in two minds about this model, and how it's turning out. But I'm actually pleased with how it sort of turned the corner a little bit. Now that we've added some more colors and it's slightly more interesting to look at. That's fine. Just checking my Ring doorbell. Cool. Right. I need to double check something here. Interesting. Okay. Hold that thought. Good doggy. I think it's like I don't know who it is, but let's see. Nope, no idea. I genuinely think it's just like someone parked. One sec. Nothing to do with me. Alright, where were we? Okay, so she actually has like leather van braces on, so that makes my life a little bit easier. Yeah. All this is brown. Honestly. Fucking grumbles down there. I know. He's a good guard dog, to be fair. Thing is, we're expecting a boiler repair person. But I don't think it's them. They're not meant to come for a wee while. I think my fiance would give me a heads up as well. about right. I don't really like this brown. It doesn't cover terribly well. Either that or it's slightly too bright. Might try and tone it down a little bit. Perhaps it'll look slightly better once it's shaded as well. Ah, okay. It's for my neighbor. He's getting his van repaired. Got it. There you go. Problem solved. Not my problem. My dog's gonna have a fucking field day though. Someone's to perpetually bark at for the next wee while. But you guys got any plans for the bank holiday? I'm buzzing. Long weekend. It'll be lovely. So I'm bringing this off camera just for a second so I can make sure that I've hit all the important spots with the brown. Work today, then chilling the next 2 days. Nice. As it should be. I don't know if your work does the same thing, but like, does your work have a mad panic whenever anyone's off for a day? Because like, you know, we had 2 days at Easter, and I was like, why the fuck are we like busting our balls to finish our work before everyone else is off? Like, what is this? But it's so stupid, isn't it? It's like, make sure you get all your work done before what? My 1 day off? I've had more days off with a cold. The manufactured urgency of everything. Okay, actually, kind of looks okay. I'll probably end up doing a little bit of a cheaty thing with the Agrax Earthshade, I think. Just having a look at the color schemes here. Make it pink. Okay. What am I doing here? I'm going to do a little bit of stuff with shades, I think. So, monkey see, monkey do. I'm going to take some Lamar medium. Probably a bit overkill for what I'm wanting to do with. That paintbrush is nearly done. Jesus. Is it nearly done or is it done? I think it's done. Jesus. Yeah, it'll do for this purpose. Take some Lamar medium. What the fuck is this music? Hello? It's like sci-fi Oompa Loompa band. Water it down. And while I do that, let's change the music. Let's do that. Do you want to do that? That should be slightly better. My music choices went off the rails a second for a bit there, but anyway. I actually require a little bit more. And hopefully this will just make it look a little bit, the stone a little bit more weathered. Oh, it's not too bad actually. Cool. And what we're going to do as well is we're going to take the Agrax Earthshade, wherever that went, there, and we'll try and do the similar with it, but on the leggings and on a particular point in the leggings as well. We're going to try. It's not quite capillary action like we expect out of, I think it's enamels that do that, but it's just to make this line just a little bit more obvious if we can. And then we'll be able to pick it up a little bit later. But it's just to make some of the details just look a little bit more poppy. But we will pick it up. We will highlight that a little bit more. Right, so we've got three major things left to do in this model. We've got the actual barrel of the musket, which should be easy enough if I'm careful. Which will be mainly lead belcher with a bit of Nuln oil again, and then a little bit of a highlight. We've got the sort of trim. That's grand. That makes my life easier. Just double checking the color scheme that I'm trying to replicate here. That's grand. Yeah, good thing is I don't need to drill the barrel of this. So I'm going to do the actual barrel a darker grey to the straps, which are a darker metallic, shall I say, and then I'll do a lighter metallic for the straps just to make it look a little bit more dynamic, a little bit more interesting. Who's knocking at my door? Someone's at my front door. Yes, I can see that. just got. Let me get. Who all wants to see a cool and interesting delivery that I just got? That I didn't realize was coming today. Let me take my address off it. So I just got a Kickstarter delivery. For a card game called Deep Regrets. And it's even wrapped up in newspaper. Isn't that class? There you go, Deep Regrets. Although I'm kind of annoyed if it's just like newspaper wrapping. It's just like, what then is the point of it? Oh, fuck this. No. But anyway, there you go. That's what it looks like. Isn't that class? Did not want you to get into this though. That's annoying that it's like, you know, there's no saving it. It's probably been fucking pasted down, but anyway. Well, there you go. That's that could be me and my fiance's entertainment later on today. Okay, back to painting. Unexpected side quest. Okay. Okay. Alright, back to this. What was I doing? I'm painting Lead Belcher. Dun, 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 dun. And if we can do the barrel as best we can as well, without mussing up the face. It's really hard to paint something that's like in a straight line almost. Do that. Sorry, this is out of shot, I know. This is just a little bit more fiddly than the other parts. That'll do. Class. Okay. Right. Next up, how to make the leather look good. Leather is like my worst nemesis in these. I feel like I'm in a discount Pokemon world. Go. Right, I need to do more on the far side. Bit lighter. I'm kind of losing the color of the brown a little bit, which is annoying, but actually that's a little bit better. Sort of more highlights. Yeah, you were mentioning the last stream. How is it? You happy? You're going to be hitting sick 360 no scopes, if those are even still a thing. Are those still a thing now? Or is that old news? Do people just do that? Like, is it not impressive anymore when people do that? It's like a boomer trick or something now. Yeah, hell yeah, I do. I'd love to see it. Especially because like my controller was like 15 quid off of Amazon. But it's fine because it's glittery. I still maintain we need to bring back see-through plastics and see-through electronics. I'd be all for that. That looks like a nice controller. That looks very nice. That's very cool. It look like mine is, you know. It's fine. Does the job. Let's see if I can't. I'm happy with how that looks, actually. I'm not happy with the grease and the shoes. That's a problem. Why am I not happy with that? Grand. Yeah. That looks nice. What color are we going to do these things? Ooh. Honestly, like, I'm just happy if mine doesn't come in clamshell packaging, because that thing is, like, the person who invented clamshell packaging needs to be put before a court of human rights. A hideous invention. Alright, do I have a darker, like, I'm torn between what color to do the final kind of flourishes. So while I mull over that, let's do a little bit more in the base. We might actually finish this this model today, which I'm buzzing about. Because quite a lot of the models I don't actually finish on stream. Right, so all we're doing here is just making a little bit more interesting to look at the base, really. Then we'll go another run over with the Nuln oil, and then I'll edge highlight in a white. But if you think of like a cobble street, it's not going to be all the same color. It's going to be different colors of stone. So I think if we can do that one, it's a different color. Needs one there, I think. There you go. Lovely. Still doesn't solve my issue with the other color, though. Right, I know I've got Stormgast here. Maybe Bugman's Glow Art? No, not that. Chat, I will need your advice and input shortly. That just needs to a bit of dab there. Right. So, you see just on the white kind of squares, there's like a surround. So there's like a sort of a decorative hem just about there. What color? I'm leaning towards a red or like a yellow, like a mustard yellow. But I don't want it to be too, like, nothing on this is bright, and I don't want to, like, suddenly oversaturate, so I'm wondering whether or not if I can find, like, a burgundy color, or, like, a, so I do have, where'd it go? I do have that, which I have used elsewhere, but the problem is I've used it very close to there, so I don't know whether or not I should look to use, like, so number 1 or number 2? This one? Good choice. Yeah, I think so. I mean, like, I don't know if you're familiar with the Darkest Dungeon video game, but it is very sort of dark, funnily enough. Artist pumpkin emotes. Funnily enough, I've been meaning to go back to my emote artist anyway, so can definitely do that. I think about a painting one. What, with like a wee beret on and stuff and a paintbrush? I'm glad that people are enjoying the painting streams, to be fair. Something very different from my usual. It's only very different from what I was used to. What I used to do. Class. Right, so we're just doing a bit of the burgundy on the hem. My only problem is I struggle to see where it is that I've painted it, because it's very similar. That actually looks really good. I'm happy with that. Just adds a little bit to it. Right, what do I still have to do on this? I need to edge highlight the base. I need to do a wash on that. I need to blend a little bit of this. Okay. So we'll take some of the lighter color that we've already used. There we go. Just to kind of give a little bit of a rise to the ruffles in the cloak. And like, this isn't exhaustive or anything. Like, I'm purposely not blending or going full bag of beans into this. A, because painting on stream is a little bit more difficult because I'm at like an odd angle. I can't have it really close to my face. But also because that's not the look I'm going for. I'm wanting this to look slightly blocky. I'm wanting to make it look slightly rough and ready. And like I'll probably go around and add like some proper highlights, like high edge highlights, very bright highlights, almost like a light grey in certain areas. But honestly, I quite like the look that is going. It's subtle. It's very everything seems like it's been done with a bit of a purpose. So I don't want to go too far or risk going too far. Yeah, that actually has made a lot of difference. Nice. Just need a little bit more paint. Class. Am I overcomplicating things doing that? I think so. Yeah. Alright, so that's fine, that's fine. I need to do just those. Okay. Take whatever brown this is. And we'll just paint onto these. This will be a slightly different brown at least. Although it's very watery. So this might be a couple of coats. I think I'm gonna have to bin this paintbrush as well because like it is not it's already losing its point entirely. Like I'm very surprised. Maybe I used it before. It does seem a little bit worn. Okay. Anyway, enough griping about the paintbrush. I think I probably will dispose of it after this. Let's use that one actually. Use that brown. Yeah, I'll dispose of it after this stream, but it'll do for now. I feel like I'm in a Price is Right commercial. Johnny, tell him what he's won. You can win this pointless ass yacht that you get taxed too much on. Or this washing machine from the 1970s. I thought it was like an aerobics commercial. Like the really misogynistic era of TV. It was like, did your husband think you were too large? Join Uncle Billy and his yoga class. Fuck, this paintbrush. I keep on saying toothbrush, and I don't know why. That'll work for the base, I think. I'm not going to spend too much time labouring over the base. What I will do is eventually I will stick a tuft of grass on it. Damn. Damn. Right, let us fix those leather those gun pouches. So that's the bad one. This is the not quite as good, or not quite as bad, but still pretty bad brush. But at least it keeps a point for a period of time. This will hopefully give me a little bit of a platform to put the null oil on it, and just easy win in terms of these pouches. There we go. I'm really chuffed with how this model's turned out. I was a bit suspicious, but I think it's done well. Of course, I will put a photograph in the Discord as well as the on my Instagram. Not quite done yet. Don't think there's a huge amount more to do though. I need to put more. I put Agrax over. I hate the fact that my Agrax Earthshade is the same. Like, it's not the right size for a shade pot. It's one I got in like a free magazine set. It's throwing me off. But it's just to make the street seem a little bit more grimy. Need a little bit more there. I actually really like that. It's amazing how, like, this is not by any means the nicest, like the most pristine or perfect model that I've painted. I still maintain that the best model I've painted to date is my Fabius Bile, which again is on my Instagram. Hey Geek, how's it going? I know, mate. I'm actually buzzing. Long weekend, thank goodness. How you doing? I might even have a 2-stream kind of day, to be honest with you. Yeah, I'll be streaming like video games a bit later in the evening. So, but I wanted to get a wee painty stream in to mostly finish off the Musketeer, which we're close on doing. I'm just waiting for some stuff to dry. What I might do is I might actually do I do it near my computer? No, I'll do it downstairs. I'll do it downstairs and then come up and show you. I need to glue a grass tuft on, but the grass tuft is plastic and comes apart easily. I don't want to do it near my computer fans. I feel like that's a recipe for disaster. But you got any plans for the bank holiday? There we go. while that is drying, let us do the final bit to the base. Mouse PI. Oh god, I pardon me. I've been really looking forward to Mouse PI. And I also saw that IGN did the equivalent of Too Much Water for Pokemon, and just kind of said like that the game was just like, you know, relying too much on its artistic, like not enough substance. And I was like, yeah, that's the point. IGN are so bad. Like, well, no, they serve their purpose. You just kind of go off of the opposite of what they think. Didn't they say that like No Man's Sky was really good? Doesn't it have like 54,000 handmade, like hand-drawn frames or something as well? Well, give me 1 second. Yeah, No Man's Sky had no reason to be as, like, no one thought that it would amount to anything at launch. Like, such high hopes, and then it all fell apart. Give me 1 second. I need to take this and this. Uno secondo, por favor. And these. Yeah. Whoop, put that there. That is the Musketeer Completo, Dunzo. We finished the model on stream at long last. There you go. Focus. Can I change the focus? No, I cannot. So there you go. There is the Musketeer of the Darkest Dungeon board game. Completed. Well, I might do, actually. Because we got a bit of time before I need to finish stream. Rather than worrying about the fine detail of these models, let us quickly get on to just blocking out cool. Not what I thought. Also, very difficult for my thing to grip, actually. Very slippy and slidey. Okay. Do I have a darker blue than this? Do I? No. I have grey and I have... There's my Rhinox side. No. No. Ooh. There we go. Perfect. Don't know when the last time I actually used this color was. Maybe never, because it was really fucking hard to open. Okay. Right. So this model is actually Rasputin from the Hellboy board games. What a weird song that says bom 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 bom. And in fairness, this model has been sat on my desk for a good long while. So even if we're able to make significant headway on what is quite a blocky model anyway. Like, this man is like 80% cloak of the same color and then a giant ass bald head and beard. So... Yeah, that's already, like, it's not perfect coverage, but it's pretty damn good. And this is not going to be a perfect paint job either, because the sculpt on this isn't fantastic. Like, it's fine, but it's quite... it's quite a confused sculpt, if that makes sense. The mold lines, I'm not sure are mold lines or if they're details. I'm assuming that he's just wearing sort of like white sleeves, if I'm honest. So we'll work with that. In terms of his face, I'm actually going to use the trick that I told Captain about earlier. In terms of how to paint really easy skin color. So we already have a nice white there, but it's kind of I oversaturated it. The backlog I have, not to mention the fact that I have like two other board games to do. Sorry, to arrive. You know, I think I need to like really make headway in actually finishing some of the models I have. But once I like these, the board game models take a lot less time than the Warhammer models, purely because they are not necessarily meant to be painted. They are meant to look good, and they're meant to look good in the tabletop, but not necessarily to be, you know, painted in the same capacity. Right, let's just make sure his big dome is properly painted. Cool. And actually, won't worry about his hands. No, you might have to worry about his hands a little bit. Note to self: make sure hands are painted. But yeah, once I do the flesh, I think I'll probably finish the stream. But don't forget, guys, I will be coming back. I'll be live again this evening, and we'll be playing some Deep Rock Galactic Survivor, as well as a couple of other games, potentially, depending on how much time we spend with the new Deep Rock Galactic expansion, as it were. But I really appreciate you spending some of your Saturday morning with me. And just like that, actually, we have a decent skin tone. But yeah, what rough time? 7ish onwards, probably. Depends what time my fiance's out for dinner and a concert with one of her friends, so it depends what time I finish dinner at. But hopefully see you in there. But yeah, I will see you guys hopefully a little bit later on. Hope you have a great rest of your Saturday. I'll hopefully see you later. Oh, before I go, Geek, you got anyone who is raidable? Die? Oh, yeah. Sweet, we'll do that. Alright. Let us, stream manager. Sick. Class. We're right in. Dear. But yeah, thank you guys so much for chilling with me on a Saturday. I'll hopefully see you a little bit later on. Go say hello to Ditama. Ooh, that was close. I nearly fucking spilt my drink on my audio interface. That would have not been a good day. I'm good. We're all grand. But yeah, I will see you guys a little bit later on. Take care.